James Lowe has returned fire. After a strong performance in Pensacola, the stars of the Bootleg Racing League are now invading the Atlantic coast for 100 laps of short track action at the legendary Myrtle Beach Speedway. Now J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton, and the Shinosky boys are looking to respond in the Grand Strand. And you'll see it all live on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Chris Bobey. Joining me tonight will be Jeff Smith. At the control center is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he will be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. This track is a tough and gritty short track, and we'll take a quick look at what goes into the perfect lap here at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Welcome to Myrtle Beach Speedway. Located in the heartland of NASCAR's core here in the southeastern United States, this track has seen countless legends from the oval racing scene duke it out. With the beautiful scenery of South Carolina as its backdrop, this half-mile oval has an unusual asymmetric D-shape. The 13-degree banking means that the low line tends to be preferred, but that has its own perils for those who like to flirt with the edge. Turns 1 and 2 feature prominent curbing that will knock loose any type of car that dares run over them. On the opposite side, turns 3 and 4 have the pit wall right at the bottom of the banking. Those who attempt to use the apron to help turn the car risk taking damage should they brush the concrete. Both the Petty and Earnhardt families have raced here for multiple generations, meaning those who show up to catch the Saturday night special might just see the next NASCAR legend kick off their career. While the Cup cars haven't visited for a few decades, late models and modified still regularly visit the place. All in all, you can't beat the beauty of the palm trees and a short trip to the beach, both of which are available to fans here at this historic track.
All right, that was a quick look at what goes into the perfect lap here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. And now I'm going to bring in my co-host tonight, Jeff Smith, to tell us a little bit more information about the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Yeah, Chris, this track is just absolutely crazy to try to drive here on the iRacing circuit. It is a half mile with 13 degrees bank. I don't care what anybody says. It's almost nothing when you try to come here and race any of these cars. It's absolutely, it's just a terribly hard track to drive, and it really takes a good wheelman to take control of this track. J.R. Shepard sitting at the top in practice here. He looks like the man to get it done. Justin Morton. These guys never seem to surprise me when it comes to talent, and tonight is no different. And I believe, Chris, you have Joe Segala.
Yep, in between practice sessions here, we're going to grab a quick word with Joe Segala, driver of the 81 car. Joe, you've had kind of a crazy season in these first few races. How do you think things are looking for tonight here at Myrtle Beach?
Hoping to have some good luck tonight. I'm going to need it. Myrtle Beach isn't exactly one of my best tracks.
Well, how's the car been feeling so far? Looks like you got at least one lap in here earlier.
Yeah, car's feeling pretty loose. Throttle control's going to be the name of the game, especially coming off the corners. Hit it too early, too hard, and it just wants to spin out.
Now, this is the last race before we have a layoff for the Easter holiday weekend. How important is it to go into a break like that with a good run under your belt?
Very important. When you go into a break, you want to have a good run, so then that way you got confidence for the next 2 weeks, and gives you something to look forward to when we get back.
All right, Joe. Well, we're going to let you get back to getting the car dialed in, and we'll hopefully be talking to you afterwards as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And that was Joe Segala, driver of the 81 car you're seeing on your screen right now. And Joe's going to be out for a cruise under the lights here in Myrtle Beach, and if you'd like to go for a cruise, we have just the people for it. The Cruise Shop has been an operation highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love to have the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. Give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams one destination at a time. And what are you thinking, Jeff? Any plans to take a cruise once all the craziness settles down out there in the real world?
Actually, it's funny you should ask, Chris. I have been planning for the last few years that I really want to go on a cruise. The wife's not too thrilled about it, but I definitely want to go on a cruise sometime here pretty soon. Hopefully, like you said, when this stuff's all over. But you know who's out on a cruise? J.R. Shepherd in practice.
Yeah, that's about as surprising as learning the sky is blue. J.R. Shepherd, quick time in hot laps, 19:045 is the time to beat. But Justin Morton's not that far behind, and you were telling me Justin's been on a bit of a hot streak tonight.
Yeah, Justin Morton wrapped up the modified race prior to this. For those of our viewers that are maybe first timers, we run 65 laps here prior to this race and the SK modifieds, and Justin Morton just checked out, so he'd be interesting to watch tonight. We don't have a James Lowe tonight, so that is very curious to me, as one of our regulars is out, but that just opens the door for maybe one of these other guys like Justin Morton or Jason Minda, who showed a lot of speed in Dirt Series last night.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that could have huge implications on the championship in this series. I believe James Lowe was second in the point standings coming into the night, just a few markers behind a J.R. Shepherd. So that's going to make a huge difference in that season-long chase. Now, a bit of a different series than what some of you may be used to on the iRacing service. These races are going to be a little bit of a different format than you're used to. No qualifying. They take the finishing order from the previous race. The top 8 finishers are inverted, meaning the person that finished 8th last week will be starting on the pole tonight. They do run 100 laps, and these drivers are only allowed the set of tires they start on. So they have to make those last, and given that this is primarily a short track series, making those tires last is a huge order. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, and especially with this surface, this rough and gritty surface here at Myrtle Beach, it really, really wears on the tires. You have to drive this track so much different than I believe any other track on the surface. And with our 75 degrees track temp tonight, 76 degree track temp tonight, what usually would be a hot, sticky surface is not so much tonight. So these guys, this track is just a whole nother animal when it comes to any car, not just this car with this tire model.
Yeah, that's the thing. Myrtle Beach Speedway is very close to the Atlantic coast. So the humidity being that low and really the temperature being that low is kind of surprising, to be honest. It should make for a pretty quick track under the lights here tonight. But it is a bit of an anomaly weather-wise with the conditions we have tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different experience for a lot of these guys. You see Tim Shinosky up there in 4th, showing a good practice as we get set to go here. This is I'm excited, but J.R. Shepherd out and about once again.
Yeah, you can see it flashing on your screen. JR lowering that benchmark here, 19:014. So he's continuing to get quicker, and looks like Justin Morton responded in kind. He's lowering his time as well. Could be a sign maybe the track's starting to get rubbered in a bit. But I think we're in for some tight competition tonight.
Yeah, and I know I say this week in and week out, but here specifically, I believe that second line is going to be where you get the best run in. You're definitely going to have to diamond this track a lot more than maybe a Five Flags or a Stafford. So that's going to be really, really big tonight on where your entry point is.
Yeah, and with that D-shaped front straightaway, I mean, that makes for a very different approach into the corner. I mean, you can really arch it out into a later apex when you have the track kind of curving into the turn like you see here at Myrtle Beach.
And it's really, really easy to get too much of a run going in down into turn 1, and that that can really come back to bite you in the long run, because you do start to overdrive. As I'm watching, I believe that is Jeffrey Harden sliding sideways. So this could happen pretty much all night. It's going to be a difficult situation.
Now we can see on the track there, looks like they have some basically curbing down on the inside 1 and 2. I can say that I haven't raced this track a ton to have too much first-hand experience with it, but you think that curbing down there that we see JR driving by right now, you think that could possibly upset the cars a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. The turtles down there, as I refer them to, I have raced these tracks a lot, quite a bit, and they are just absolutely horrible. If you get those with the front of the car, you're going to blow up easily.
Yeah, that's good information to have, and really something to watch out for as this event goes on. Definitely could play a role here as these drivers get later into the runs, maybe get a little more bold with the track.
Yeah, you definitely got to be careful not to hit those at any point.
So just hitting about the 2-minute warning here for practice. J.R. Shepard is going to be your top driver. Brian Dean with a very strong run in P3 right now. How much do you think you can take from these practice times and really carry it over into the race, Jeff?
It all really depends on how hard you drive this track. Like, this is a very, very drive-sensitive track, if you will. If you drive it way too fast and way too hard early, you're going to pay in the end. So these guys in the practice laps, if it gets rubbered up and get a little bit quicker, as long as they don't try to overdrive it, they can maintain this beast.
So just getting ready to finish up practice here shortly. Some drivers making some last-minute attempts at getting their approach to the track figured out here. I think these guys have a tall order ahead of them with J.R. Shepard setting the pace. But a lot of drivers have showed some really impressive speed here in our opening 2 rounds of the season. The Shinosky boys, Matt and Tim, both been really impressive in the early runnings of this season. Tim up there, right just outside the top 5, and really, you look down through the pylon to your left there, less than a half second separates the field. These guys are all very evenly matched here tonight, and I think that's going to bode very well for our race as far as keeping these guys going.
Yeah, and like you said, these guys they're going to have to battle and battle hard, and hopefully not too many bumpers tonight.
Well, it is some good old short track racing here on a Saturday night, so that very well could be a possibility. Hopefully nobody's feelings get hurt too bad. But looks like we got a nice little field of about 20 drivers going to be lining up as the final seconds tick out of the hourglass for practice here.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see with Brad Speidel and Jason Menda, they're going to be starting on your front row. So, and Menda showed a ton of speed last night on the dirt side, and when this track gets at first, this track is super slick and really tough to drive. So maybe bringing some of that dirt experience into this situation will help late in the run.
Well, let's head over to our grid now as we got the drivers lining up on pit road. Brad Speidel starting on the pole. Outside of him will be Jason Menda, as Jeff just touched on. Donnie Moore and Tim Shinosky will make up row number 2 with Justin Morton and J.R. Shepard, the top 2 in practice, starting on row 3. Matt Shinosky and Lowell Jewell will be row 4 with Jeffrey Harden and Ruben Altice completing your top 10.
Then you're going to have Joe Segala in 11th, Brian Dean in 12th, Kurt Smith in 13th, Austin Belkey 14th, Bruce Pearson 15th, Chris Wolfson 16th, Mike Allen 17th, Todd Liston 18th, Robbie Robinson 19th, and John Hine will be your caboose tonight.
So it looks like we got 20 cars. Conspicuous by his absence is James Lowe, our winner from 1 week ago. but nonetheless, we will go with what we have as we take a look back. Beautiful shot here of the drivers coming off the pit road. Myrtle Beach Speedway is a track with a ton of history. This is where drivers like Dale Earnhardt Jr. really got their start in the short track racing world before they went on to NASCAR. And just a huge list of names that have been a part of the history here at the beach. And we're looking to put another name in the books here. 100 laps is the distance. It's going to be Brad Speidel and Jason Menda leading them around. You see the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car leading them down the front straightaway. And Jeff, I think we're going to be in for a good one here.
Yeah, and these guys are going to have to be patient and let this track and car combination come to them. Because if you, like I said before, if you race this too hard, too quick, you will pay for it in the end. And there's 100 laps of green flag racing, I believe we're going to have tonight.
All right, so once again, it is in the hands of Speidel and Menda as they head down through turns 3 and 4. Off of turn 4, the green flag is out, and here we go at Myrtle Beach. And just like that, we're off into turns 1 and 2. Looks like the front of the field keeping things pretty safe. It's the 76 of Speidel leading the way as the 45 of Menda gets settled in. The battle right now is for third between Donnie Moore on the inside in the 26 car and the 07 of Tim Shinosky on the outside. Justin Morton right now looking for somewhere to go. So far, everybody playing nice here in the opening pair of laps.
Yeah, and Donnie Moore's going to have to watch in his rear view as we got the 9 of Justin Morton coming through. And just like any other 9, and Donnie's, he saved it. Wow, what a drive. That is wild. Great job.
So we're going to hop on board with Donnie Moore here and get a look at that pucker moment, as we like to call it. Looks like you can even see J.R. Shepard in his mirror, and just gets loose off the corner. Steered into it, handled it perfectly. He lost a ton of spots, but nonetheless kept the car in one piece, and really that's about half the battle here in the early running at Myrtle Beach.
And I think, Chris, that's one of those things we touched on. I think he just tried to get a little bit too much on exit, and the car just wanted to whip around on him. You're definitely going to have to watch that here in the early runnings.
So we're looking back from your leader, Brad Speidel, in the 76 car. You can see Jason Menda behind him, but lurking in his shadows is the Kmart car of Tim Shinosky, just looking for somewhere to go.
Yeah, Shinosky's not going to wait around. He sees this as an opportunity to make up some points on James Lowe and J.R. Shepard, as Shepard's having to battle through the field. He's on up to 5th.
Yeah, everybody playing nice so far, but you got to believe Justin Morton is going to want to get a move on it here. He's got a very fast car, was second quick in practice, and definitely looking to try to... looks like he actually might have ended up being fast time in practice. Taking a look at the sheet here. It looks like Shinosky is holding strong right now, and everybody's settling in. 100 laps is a long way to go on one set of tires here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, and just ride around, get your 50 laps in, and let's ride this thing out for a little bit.
Going to take a look now at the battle for 7th as Brian Dean gets to the inside of Jeffrey Harden, and looks like he'll take the position away. If you were watching the screen here earlier, you could actually see that Brian Dean was setting the fastest lap of the race at one point. So Dean has a very quick car in that green and black number 23 as he breaks into the 7th spot, and he's already going to work on Lowell Jewell for 6th.
You definitely have to make those moves early in the corner. You got to have that nose in there, and you got to trust that the outside guy is not going to come down and just chop you off. And I believe there is enough respect with everyone, not just Lowell Jewell in this league, that he did not come down and just cut his nose off.
Yeah, looks like very fair racing so far between Dean and Jewell, but you gotta believe Brian's itching to get that spot. He's got a very fast car, and he needs to make the most of it as early as he can.
Yeah, and showing that speed early on in the race, how much nerves coming into that, knowing that you have the fast car and you need to get to the front, but you don't want to maybe race a guy like Little Joel too hard and save it for once you get to the front and are fighting with Shinovsky.
So we're going to head back up front. It's still Brad Speidel holding the position. The battle really is for third right now as Justin Morton works to the inside of Tim Shinovsky. They're going to be pretty close as they head down the front straightaway here. It looks like Shinovsky still has the position. Now another thing to really think about, Jeff, is it's 100 laps. But last week, we did not have a caution. So these guys didn't have that to bank on to bunch the field back up, and I think that really played a role in what we saw for our finishing order.
Yeah, you have to watch and not let anybody get too far out. And Brad Speidel, he's done a really good job of managing that lead and not getting too far out, but also not letting Minda get that look. And I believe that's going to come into play later on, and they'll both have the tires to run with a guy like Shepard if he gets through the front.
Well, things are getting a little close up front as Brad Speidel now having to sweat out a battle with Jason Menda. Menda won the BRL Street Stock event here, I believe it was last night at the Lima Land Speedway. Oh, it looks like we have a caution on the track. Looks like I do see a car pulling onto pit road. Looks like Ruben Altice is off the pace towards the back of the field, showing some damage on the side of his car.
Oh yeah, him and Todd Liston look like they just got together around, I believe that's turn 1. Looks like Liston got a little bit of run on the outside, and Ruben Altice just trying to push up in a little bit. Oh, coming off of turn 2. Yeah, that's gonna be a spot late in the race here as this group kind of moves up. They're gonna need to use all of that exit there, trying to get out of 2.
Yeah, kind of surprising Ruben didn't know Todd was there. I mean, Todd was pulled almost even with him, but it looks like he just kind of went up and maybe didn't know he was there.
Yeah, Liston definitely did not have any room to give there to the outside. He gave him every bit of what he could.
Well, while we have a quiet moment here, let's take a quick look at our point standings as they were coming into this race. James Lowe actually was your points leader, just 2 markers ahead of J.R. Shepard. So with not being here, James is obviously going to give up a sizable advantage, but Tim Shinovsky and Justin Morton are both not very far away from your top drivers, and they're running pretty good tonight. Matt Shinovsky, he's in the 5th position, 14 markers back. A bit of a struggle tonight. He's dropped down to 16th after leading a lot of laps the week before. But looks like Tim Shinovsky carrying the flag for the Shinovsky family tonight.
Yeah, and these guys have shown a lot of speed the last couple weeks, so that's really cool to see some of these new faces up there. And with Lowe not being here tonight, that's really going to hurt him. Now we know James Lowe, he's going to dig himself out of the hole that maybe he creates, but it's definitely going to make for an interesting next couple weeks.
That is for sure. Next time these drivers will be in action, we will be off next Saturday night for the Easter holiday. They'll be in action 2 weeks from tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. A pretty drastic change from this track. Really a very flat, long straightaways, paperclip shaped track as we're all familiar with. So that's going to be quite a bit of difference from what these drivers are. But that's really part of the charm of the Bootleg Racing League. A very diverse schedule, even if they are primarily short track based. So it's going to be Brad Speidel and Jason Menda on the front row. They're doubled up behind the pace car.
Yeah, and as you touched on, Martinsville is just a really flat track, and they got to get on the brakes.
All right, off of 4. Green flag is back out. Brad Speidel jumps out to a great advantage, and that's going to leave the door open for Tim Shinovsky to try to pull the inside of Jason Menda. He's going to pull just about even maybe? No, not quite. Menda able to get to the bottom, but now look at Justin Morton in the 9 car. He's tried this a few times, trying to make that outside groove work, and he's actually going to pull ahead just a little bit as they head off towards turn number 1.
Yeah, and I believe that outside groove is where the run is going to come off of exit. As you see him pull just a nose ahead, I believe Shanoski's going to let him in here. Yeah.
Yep, and he does. Justin Morton will slot into the 3rd position now. As Jason Menda takes a peek to the inside of Speidel, they're going to be even going into turn 1. Oh, Menda actually slides up the track, is able to get it woed down a little bit, but now they are dead even going down the back straightaway. Justin Morton watching, very interested in how this turns out. So far, Speidel still hanging strong on the outside. Menda once again dead even as they cross the line.
And Morton is loving this side-by-side battle that he's watching in front of him, because these guys are working the wheel just a little bit harder and using up some of that fresh rubber that maybe they will need later in the run.
Ooh, Menda actually touches the 76 of Speidel, and we have a caution on the track. No. Oh, as Morton gets into Menda, they both go around, and Brian Dean collected, as well as Jeffrey Harden and Austin Belke involved as well. And the hood has actually came up on the 45. So I'm not sure what brought out the initial
damage in that too.
Well, great product placement for STP. I can only imagine how he's even steering that car right now. You think if he spins it around backwards, he can get it to go back down?
Yeah. I wonder if he could bring out some of maybe of his inner toe mater and be the world's best backwards driver.
So as you can see, the caution is already out when this part of the incident happened. Looks like everyone just kind of slowed up at a bit of a different pace. You have the battle for the lead between Speidel and Menda, and then once the caution comes out, you'll actually see there's Menda got a little bit loose off the corner, and then Morton just ran over him. And there goes the hood.
Belke got some damage too. Austin Belke and Jeffrey Harden got together.
Belke hit Morton kind of late on that one. And I gotta say, for those people that call iRacing a quote-unquote video game, it doesn't get much more realistic than this. I don't know how many times I've been at the track and seen somebody's hood pop up and block their view. And interestingly enough, he's not heading to pit road.
Too bad he can't just pull a senior, Dale Earnhardt Sr., and just stick his hand out the window and just flip it down, as Senior did when he was washing the windshield.
The only way this could be better if his sponsor was Fig Newtons.
That would be awesome. I can't see anything.
I do love a good Fig Newton, though, if we're gonna touch on that. But huge championship implications on this one, because Justin Morton was one of those drivers that was within striking distance, only 10 points back coming into the night from the leader, James Lowe, who's not here. He was only 8 points behind JR. And now Morton, unfortunately, just still not 100% sure what happened, just didn't have time to react to the caution coming out, and tags the 45 of Menda, and chaos reigns. But still, Jason Menda out there with literally no clear view of what's in front of him.
And it looked like Morton was able to go in and take his spare car. So he is fresh, clean. He will have a battle trying to come through the field tonight.
Well, he's been consistently one of the fastest drivers out there. The field's doubling up. Menda still not heading to pit road, so well, iRacing pace car pulls off, and we'll say a quick prayer for the sights of Jason Menda, as the green flag will be coming out here at the restart line. And there we go, the 76 off to a great start, but the door is open. J.R. Shepard gets a tremendous start. Shanoski and Shepard now side by side for second place.
And I believe these guys made a mistake by allowing J.R. Shepherd, if you will, to make that move and get up front, because he is pretty much untouchable once he gets up front.
Well, Menda having some problems. He is just throwing away spots here. Looks like he's obviously driving a little conservatively. Nonetheless, it's still Brad Speidel out in front with about a half-second advantage over J.R. Shepherd. But with James Lowe not James Lowe not in the race tonight, you got to believe JR trying to capitalize to maximize the ability to take that points lead back and build as big a gap as possible. Big battle going on back around the 13th position. You have Justin Morton, who's trying to work his way back up through the field. And then you have Chris Wolfson and Robbie Robinson battling it out for the position. And the 19 of Lowell Jewell also in the mix there as well. So a lot of different agendas going on right now. And speaking of words ending in enda, not too far away is the Jason Menda in the mix there a little ways back after still trying to get that car figured out with the hood up. And we'll head back towards the front of the field. J.R. Shepherd now going to work on Brad Speidel. JR has that inside line, 13 degrees of banking, but it kind of starts late here at Myrtle Beach. But J.R. Shepherd is just so good on these types of tracks. And Tim Shinosky is right up on the back bumper at JR.
Yeah, and Shinosky's going to battle with Shepherd as much as he can tonight. As this is, like you've touched on many times. Oh, and he gets him. He gets a nose on him. That is using up the bumper. Wow, and that only hurts himself.
Yeah, that turned out way worse for Shinosky. And check out Brian Dean up there in the mix in the MBNA car. Dean has been one of the quickest cars on the track, as we've seen pop up on the screen a couple times. He has been back fast all night long and has really worked his way up. Started 12th and has gotten up to third on merit. We only had the one caution, so he has had to work his way up the hard way and is now battling for the second spot.
Yeah, and he's also had a little bit of a recovery tonight after that contact in that first caution. So that's huge. You know, he's battling not only cars on the track, but avoiding that incident early.
So the top three cars, top four single file. Right now the battle is for fifth. The 07 of Tim Shinosky and the 87 of Todd Liston battling side by side for that position. Liston trying to make that outside line work, and looks like he'll actually do a pretty good job of it as they come off at turn 4 there, and he'll be just about clear of Shinosky. So it looks like the fortunes of the 07 car maybe taking a bit of a turn here as he's starting to give up some positions.
And I'm finally right, Chris. I finally called one correct on using this outside line and getting an actual run. So look at that.
Yeah, this may be one of the most organically racy tracks that we've had the pleasure of calling a race at. I know we had Stafford Springs the opening week, and Stafford is notoriously a track that's one groove by design. So it really takes a good driver that can make some passes there. And then last week was kind of a bit of the same.
Yeah, I definitely it was a one groove kind of race for these guys, and I believe that later in the season we hit some tracks that maybe get some two grooves in them. Definitely not in 2 weeks at Martinsville will not be the case.
Looks like Jason Menda finally heading down pit road to get some of that. Well, I guess it's not really some hood. He had the whole hood up in front of his windshield. Looks like just the pit road speed was able to. I actually saw it drop on the screen there. But nonetheless, heading back up front, it's J.R. Shepherd with opening up to about 3/10 over Brad Speidel. Brian Dean has dropped back a little bit. And, we mentioned Todd Liston making some moves. Todd started 18th tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, and with that early contact in that first caution, it's sort of a surprise to see him fight his way back through here so quickly, but he's doing it and doing it well. You know who else is on the move? Justin Morton, after that contact, has climbed his way back up to 13th.
Morton's picked off quite a few and is probably dealing with at least a little bit of damage. You see him battling right now with 56 of Robbie Robinson. And Justin looked strong all evening. Like you mentioned, he was the quickest car in practice. And he is giving it his all to try to get back up there in the mix. And you got to believe, at the very least, he's got to be shooting for 8th position to try to hit the invert for the race in 2 weeks. So you got to believe starting on pole in Martinsville is going to be just about where you want to be.
Oh yes, because it is so hard to make a pass there, especially when you don't have the tires late in the run. So that's going to be curious, and it doesn't look like Morton's car is handling all that well here in dirtier air, as he has to battle his way through traffic.
We are past the halfway point now, so on the downward slope of this one. I do want to give a call to Matt Shinoski in the 00 car. Matt had some struggles earlier on in the event. He was running quite a ways deeper in the pack than we were used to the last few weeks. And right now he is running in that 8th position, so if the race were to end right now, he would be the driver starting on pole in 2 weeks at Martinsville. But he's under assault now from the 11 of Ruben Altice, who was involved in an earlier caution. And Jeffrey Harden, who took a pretty solid hit in the last caution, is up there as well. So a great battle right now for the 8th spot. A lot rides on that position because that's the driver that will lead him down to the green. And the driver that finishes right behind him starts 9th. So a huge difference maker in that 8th place position.
Looks like Bruce Pearson and Robbie Robinson doing battle back here. Robbie Robinson makes real quick work of that, and Justin Morton takes advantage of that also.
Yeah, you got to believe it probably would be in the best interest of Justin Morton to kind of sit back and cruise behind a hard charger like Robbie Robinson. Let Robinson kind of open up the gaps for him and then just follow him through.
Yeah, you definitely have to take care of any advantage that you may or may not get here.
As they like to say, there's no honor among thieves. So you hitch your wagon to whichever horse is going to get you to the front, and then you ride it out. So Tim Shinoski, unfortunately, still having some struggles tonight as he is dropped back to the 7th position. Trying to work his way back up, he is going to work on the 6 of Kurt Smith and that beautiful Mark Martin throwback. So Shinoski looking for somewhere to go, but looks like the 6 car is doing a great job holding his line. You can see just how razor thin the margin of error is coming off of turn 4. Those guys are right down against that inside wall, and it looks like they all managed to just lap after lap cut it as close as they can, and everybody continues on. You'll see it right here. Oh, you look at Todd Liston, and you've got to wonder how those drivers are not just scraping the left sides on that wall.
Yeah, you definitely got to get as close as you can to that 3-4 wall, and you have to be very careful not to catch that apron there on the exit of 4 because it is slick.
Oh yeah, for sure. The apron probably has its hazards, and much like those turtles down in turn 1. Battle going on right now for the 11th spot still with Jeffrey Harden, Robbie Robinson, and Justin Morton all in the mix. Morton trying to now put the moves on the 56 of Robbie Robinson after using him as kind of a, I guess, a battering ram for a lack of a better term. Oh, it looks like Kurt Smith may have had some problems. He went way up the track. That opens the door for Tim Shinoski in the 07, and he's now going to make a move on the 6 car.
He's under fire from also from Matt. So maybe the brothers team up and take out Kurt Smith tonight.
I think the handle might be getting away from Tim a little bit. He did get a bit squirrely off of turn 4. Matt did not capitalize on it, but Shinosky seems to have the wheels back underneath him, and now Kurt Smith once again with a bit of a wide exit off of turn 2.
Yeah, and it seems like he's trying to get a little bit too much on exit, and when you do that, you really, really have to ride it out all the way out to the wall and try to get it handle under that car.
Well, he's apparently seen that the Shinosky car is funded by Kmart, which isn't doing much funding of anything lately, so you know he's got nothing to lose.
Kmart and Little Caesars. The pair of the champions.
Is this where we go on another 5-minute pizza rant?
Yes, every single time. This time we make it about time.
I don't know if we can slide that one past the sensors. And speaking of trying to slide one past, looks like Shinosky looked to the inside of the 6 on Kurt Smith, who's leaving a pretty sizable gap at the bottom of the track, but just not enough for Shinosky to really stick a nose in there and possibly make a move.
He's almost teasing him at this point, leaving that much of a gap on exit, and Shinosky just not able to capitalize.
Well, you almost got to give credit to Shinosky for not trying to shove it in there, because with about half a groove left in there, he could theoretically stick his nose in there and kind of root the 6 car up the track, but you got to respect him not doing that.
And there's so much respect here in this series with these guys. And speaking of respect, you have to respect the speed coming out of J.R. Shepherd tonight with a 2-second lead on Brian Dean.
Yeah, you got to believe Dean is hoping for a caution at this point. Brad Speidel apparently had some kind of issue. He's given up a couple spots now. Brian Dean running in that second position, and Donnie Moore now your final podium runner. We'll take a look back, and Donnie Moore actually looking to still move his position up as he's looking around trying to find a way around the 23 of Dean. We're on a head-on board here, looking out the back window, and you can see Donnie Moore in those red gloves as he's working the wheel, trying to pick the best entry into the corner to try to get the best run on the 23 of Dean.
And Donnie showed a lot of speed here in the modifieds before this race, so maybe that drive in the modifieds is starting to push over into these K&N cars, and he's really showing that he's got what it takes to battle with Brian Dean tonight.
Yeah, we're inside of 30 to go at this point, so
there's a caution.
Well, we do have a caution on the Speedway. Taking a look around here, trying to figure out who is our culprit. Well, see the 6 of Kurt Smith. Looks like he may have had some issues as he's dropping down the order. Oh, yep, Kurt Smith with heavy damage on the left front. He actually hits the wall here.
And it looks like that left front tire actually might have blown. Wow, that is a wild ride.
Yeah, comes off of 4. Ooh, and just head on into the pit wall.
Oh yeah, he's just trying to avoid Liston. His Liston gets loose and he just dives on the inside, and it was just too much of a move to do, and he just gets around. Jeffrey Harden having to do a little bit of dodgeball, if you will. Apparently he can dodge a wrench and a car.
If you can dodge an entire race car, you can dodge a ball. So 25 laps left to run here. We're on lap 75. J.R. Shepherd, his lead is now going to be erased. He'll have Brian Dean and Donnie Moore who have both been bad fast throughout this event, will be right on him.
And I want to touch on the resilience of Justin Morton as he drives that number 9 through the field. And I also have a friend of mine, Steve, who's shown a lot of resilience during the last few weeks. He had some knee surgery, and he wore 9 in football. So shout out to resilience of the 9.
Well, very cool. Hope Steve is on the mend. Lights are still on the pace car, so we got a minute before these guys come around. Justin Morton has broken back into the top 10 after being involved in one of the earlier cautions. So a pretty solid recovery for him, and this caution hopefully helps him out. Hopefully he didn't use up his stuff too much trying to work his way back up through the field. And you got some movers from deep in the field. Todd Liston running in the 5th spot. He started 18th. And Brian Dean will be on the outside. He started 12th up to 2nd. And race fans, what we're going to be doing here after we come back to the green, we're going to ask you to drop down to the lower left corner of your screen, or lower right, depending on how your computer's set up. Or if you're on your device at home, turn that volume all the way up, and we're just going to listen to these race cars for a couple laps. All right, hope you enjoyed just hearing the sounds of some race cars. We can't go out on the track and do it right now, so we might as well just enjoy it from here in the comfort of our own homes. J.R. Shepard's still out in front. He was able to do a great restart, and now Donnie Moore was able to work underneath Brian Dean. He runs in the 2nd spot. Got a battle going on here towards the latter part of the top 10. Jeffrey Harden, Ruben Altice doing battle for that 8th spot, and Justin Morton in 10th now, trying to get underneath Altice. Looks like he will as they come off of turn number 2. So Justin Morton still trying to recover from his earlier incident, as Jeffrey Harden looking to play defense on the invert spot.
And the only thing that could have made that turn it up to 11 any better is if Bath and Body Works would finally give us our race fuel scented candles. I mean, that's the only thing that would have made that any bit better. That is absolutely my favorite smell in the whole world when I arrive at the track, is the sound of the race cars and the smell of that fuel.
I don't know, is cucumber melon still a thing? I was a big fan of cucumber melon. I mean, like, the race cars are great, but I love me some cucumber melon. Speaking of cucumber melon, the 98 of J.R. Shepard out in front, cool as a cucumber, as he's now extended that out to 3/4 of a second advantage over the 26 of Donnie Moore. So it looks like our top 6-7 cars have all sorted things out here a little bit, but the battle towards the back of the top 10 is looking pretty stout right now as they try to knock it out for that invert spot. That 8th place position, we can't hammer that enough. But it looks like we have a battle shaping up for the final podium position. Brad Speitel started on the pole and faded a little bit, but looks like he might have possibly been saving his stuff, Jeff, as he's now going to work on the 23 of Brian Dean.
Yeah, and he may have given those tires a little bit to cool off and finally, and maybe gotten some of that maybe false grip back here in the later stages of the race with the cautions, and he's doing work here on Brian Dean, who showed so much speed tonight, and hats off to him.
Yeah, Dean drove up to the front in a hurry, but you got to wonder if maybe he might have used up the good on those tires on that drive to the front. And another...
Yeah, because he is absolutely just he is struggling here on exit. As you see Speidel just looking to the inside, he's just not going to give it to him.
And another thing I've kind of noticed in my time on the service, now you and I, Jeff, are a couple of Yankees, but it seems like the surface on these southern tracks are just a little bit more abrasive than what we find up here where you and I are from.
Yeah, it's definitely harder on the surface. At these southern bell tracks, it's just really, really tough to save tires late here in the run.
And it looks like with closing in on 10 laps to go, the 9 of Justin Morton has decided it's time to start being nice and start getting real, as he has gone to work on the 11 of Ruben Altice. Was just about underneath his car the last time around, and he is not leaving much margin for error right now.
And you know what that means, Chris? That means the chrome horns are coming out, and everybody's getting a chrome horn tonight.
Ooh, you can see Morton sawing on the wheel there as we head up to our battle for the third position. Brian Dean, Brad Speidel, and the Shinosky boys all doing battle for that position right now.
And you know who's loving this battle for second, third, and fourth? J.R. Shepherd, as he pulls out to a 2.5 lead.
That is for sure. J.R. Shepherd pretty much out for a nice Saturday evening cruise at this point, as we now have 8 laps remaining. It's Shepherd, Moore, and Dean, your top 3. Dean, the first one that's really sweating it out right now, as he has Brad Speidel all over him, and really just a bottleneck of talent. You have Speidel, the Shinoskis, Brian Dean, who's holding the position, and then Todd Liston and Jeffrey Harden in there as well, not very far behind. Just hard chargers and fast cars, and Brian Dean is having to hold them all back on a car that's probably had a bit of the good used up. He started 12th pretty deep in the field, has worked his way up to 3rd, and now he's really having to work to keep 3rd.
Yeah, he just doesn't have much left there. I believe he's drove everything he had off of this car.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to make that car as wide as possible, but Brad Speidel is right there just looking to make a move. And you got to think, if Speidel doesn't make a move soon, then somebody behind him may start making a move on him.
Yeah, we've seen the silent hero, Tim Shinosky, just kind of hang around and make those moves when it matters the most. And with 4 laps to go here, I don't think he's going to wait around too much longer.
Yeah, there goes Speidel to the inside, shoved his nose in there. Looks like Dean is going to shut the door as they come off of the corner.
Yeah, I just don't think I think Speidel's used up just as much as Dean has, and I don't think he has enough he may get a look, but to be able to match that drive off is just not going to be there. These guys have drove their butts off tonight to try to keep these cars underneath them on this abrasive surface.
Well, Speidel and Dean just about close enough to make dinner plans, but Dean is still holding strong in the position. I mean, it's got to be close to ice skates for these guys. With just a pair of laps left, we might see Dean able to hold on.
They make dinner plans. Do they call the Shinosky boys and have it at Kmart with Little Caesars?
Oh man, let's not even talk about the Kmart Express, as the white flag is out. 1 more lap remaining. You'll see J.R. Shepherd. He's going to be heading off into turn number 3. And coming off of turn 4, the checkered flag. Ooh, Shepherd wheels it off of turn 4. He's going to take the win. So it's going to be Donnie Moore hanging on for second with Dean and Speidel, and then the 2 Shinoskis completing your top 6. There's still plenty of information coming your way. We'll get a chance to check out our winner and our top 3 finishers here in just a moment. Make sure to stay tuned and watch all the races coming across your screen here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. as you see J.R. Shepherd down there in victory lane here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, we are back here live on the Global SimRacing Channel after a great 100-lap race here with the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Division at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in virtual South Carolina. Your finishing order is going to be flying across your screen right now. It's J.R. Shepherd, his second win of the season over Donnie Moore. Brian Dean, a charge from deep in the field to finish third. Brad Swidle all over him for the position, has to settle for fourth. Tim Shinosky and Matt Shinosky in fifth and sixth with a couple great finishes. Jeffrey Harden seventh. Justin Morton recovers from an early spin to be in the invert position. He'll be starting on the pole in 2 weeks at the Martinsville Speedway with Robbie Robinson and Todd Liston driving from 18th up to 10th.
Then we have Ruben Ortiz, Bold Jewel, Austin Belkey, Joe Slagala, Bruce Pearson 15th, Kurt Smith 16th after some late race incidents, Mike Allen 17th, Chris Wolfson 18th, Jason Minda with that bent up hood comes home 19th, and John Hine, who struggled from the very beginning, comes home 20th tonight.
All right, that's your finishing order, and the guy that topped the pylon tonight, our winner, second time this season, J.R. Shepherd. J.R., congratulations on a great race.
I appreciate it, man. That was a fun race. It's a really tough track with these Arca Menards cars around Myrtle Beach. It's it's gritty, it's slick, and easy to wear the tires out. So actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it tonight.
Yeah, it looked like that last restart really worked out in your favor. You were able to kind of follow the front row through and get up there and challenge for the lead. Before that, I mean, things looked a little bit dicey with the caution in front of you there. Did you get in the mix in that one at all?
I saw it last second, and I was already committed to going high because the caution had just come out, and I don't know how I missed it. I didn't even look at the car. I don't think it got any damage from it, but nothing popped up on the screen. So, yeah, very lucky on that one. That could have ruined the night for sure.
Now, with no James Lowe on track tonight, you're going to take over the points lead, and you're going to have the momentum heading into the break. You think that's going to maybe play a role having a couple weeks off and a chance to kind of savor the victory?
Yeah, it never hurts to have some momentum when you go into a break, and it's nice to have, it's really extremely nice to be able to do this each and every weekend, but to have a weekend off, especially during a holiday, it's nice to be able to relax and not have to worry about coming in here and racing. But yeah, it's nice to have the momentum for sure when we get back to it in a couple of weeks.
And in 2 weeks, we're going to be heading to Martinsville Speedway. What's your feelings on that particular circuit?
It's going to be tough. These cars, historically speaking, have been tight. It's kind of the same way with the trucks when you run at Martinsville. It's tricky getting into the corner. It's easy to overdrive it, and the front end just pushes like crazy. And then you get that push loose as soon as you jump back on the throttle. So it's going to be hard to manage, and you're going to have to take care of those front tires all night long if you want to be up there at the front.
Well, JR, anybody you want to thank to help make your race possible tonight?
Yeah, thank the crew shop for sure for being a great partner with the Bootleg Racing League and for being with us multiple seasons. It's great to have them on board and support us the way that they do. Thanks to Lowell for adminning and putting this on each and every week. It gives us something to do, especially with everything that's going on in the country. So it's nice to be able to come in here and relax and have a great race.
Well, congratulations, JR, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
All right, Jeff, I believe you're going to be catching up with our runner-up, Donnie Moore.
Hey, Donnie, on a crisp, cool night here in the South, you bring it home second. How did the car feel tonight?
Well, at first, the lap 2 didn't feel too good. Dropped back into 12th after I lost it, but I'm happy with the way it finished out. That last caution, I don't think I'd have been able to catch Brian. So yeah, that last caution helped me a little.
A very good recovery from you tonight. You didn't have that confidence going into last week, but you seem to have a well drive tonight. So that's made a huge difference. How did the car feel late in the run as far as tires go?
Yeah, real slippery, boy. You had to walking on eggshells there at the end for sure, definitely. Yeah, haven't had a lot of seat time in this car, so maybe I'm getting the hang of it, maybe not.
As we go into the Easter break next week and then come back to go to Martinsville, how do you feel about the way this car and the way this tire model is going into Martinsville?
Honestly, I haven't got enough miles under my belt in this car to really give you an honest answer. I don't know. Martinsville's a tough track to pass, so that'll be interesting. But well, we'll hopefully improve every week. That's all I'm looking for.
You're definitely hanging in there, buddy. You're doing a great job each and every week. We look forward to watching you. Do you have anybody you want to give thanks to?
Well, definitely thanks to Bootleg Racing here. Lowell does a great job. The cruise shop for sponsoring us, and you guys for putting on a good show. Thanks. Boy, the last time I was here, you guys had some guy named Sean working. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we haven't put Sean out to pasture yet.
Good. Don't.
Thanks, Donnie.
All right, we're going to catch up now with probably one of the most tired people in virtual Myrtle Beach right now, Brian Dean. Brian, you had to drive it from 12th all the way up to 3rd, and that's not the easiest thing to do on some of these short tracks.
Yeah, I'm getting a little too old to be wheeling these things around for so many green flag laps. It's pretty tough on me.
Now, the car looked really fast there in the opening portion of the race, but it looks like as the laps kind of wound down, looks like you had your hands full a little bit.
Yeah, I never really got a grasp on turn 1, and near the end there I was really sending it too hard. But thankfully the outside was where I needed to be able to hold them off and finish 3rd.
So pretty good finish for you tonight. We have Martinsville coming up in a couple weeks. How are you feeling about that race?
Some tracks I'm good at, some tracks I'm not. This one and Martinsville are good tracks for me, so hopefully I can do well.
All right, Brian, anybody you wanted to thank that helped make your race possible tonight?
Just the normal, I'm sure everybody says. Lowell and the league and the guys that I run with. It's a fun Saturday night. Thank you guys, too.
Well, thank you, Brian. Hopefully we'll be talking to you in a couple weeks. So with that, Jeff, any final thoughts on our race here tonight at Myrtle Beach?
These guys further prove, I say this each and every week, but these guys further prove that they are 20 of the best on the service as they wheel these cars on these short tracks with these abrasive surfaces and do it so well and do it so clean each and every week. I personally want to thank you guys for doing that each and every week with the Bootleg series. It is a blast, and I really enjoy it.
Well, while we wrap things up here tonight, want to give a special thanks out to the Cruise Shop. You can find them at thecruiseshopfw.com or reach them by phone at 260-755-6125. Help them set up your plans for after the world's done ending. We want to thank the Bootleg Racing League for allowing us to host their great events each and every week. And want to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. You'll see them listed on the screen here. And an additional thanks to June Malone, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the crew today, Jeff, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracing.com or check out our social media pages on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC Grant, _Grant, excuse me. If you'd like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. The link will be in the description below. And don't forget to head over to our YouTube page, hit the big red subscribe button, and ring the bell to get notified for all of our live broadcasts here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. As we mentioned, the Bootleg Racing League will be off this upcoming Saturday for the Easter holiday. They'll be back in action Saturday, April 18th at the Martinsville Speedway, same time, 8:50 p.m. Eastern. And to see all the other upcoming events, they'll be flashing across your screen here in just a moment. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.